2, 3. We're live, Mr. Wade. I yield, sir.
Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
Again, it's a pleasure to sit in your company here on a blessed Wednesday on our 393 edition of our Belizean Affairs show. It's a
Yes,
pleasure,
sir.
sir. And to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, welcome to another edition. Hope that tonight's program will be some beneficiary to our viewing and listening public. And for those who will view us tonight and for those who will view us a little later, thank you for supporting. And as always, Leonard, time is always of an essence.
Yes, sir.
So we jump straight into it and, we start our program with a prayer and then I'll do a reading, Leonard, and I ask you to please grace us tonight with a prayer, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the privilege to participate with you on your show tonight, sir. And hope that whatever we bring to the general public may be of some public benefit, as you had said. And a lot of things happening in the country. So I'll just bow my head and pray and then see how we go from there. Uh, Divine loving Father, thou who art our creator, and the creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, into thy hands we commend ourselves, asking that thou would continue to have mercy upon us, that thou would continue to guide us and give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, endurance, perseverance, strength, and some fortitude to speak truth to power when need be. We pray that thou must bless all our family members as if they were all mentioned by name and number, our friends and loved ones, those who are sick, please heal them. Those who have need of food and clothes and shelter, please provide for them. And those who are in harm's way and being hurt for no justifiable reason, sometimes we pray that thou must relieve them as well, loving Father, for we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank
Are you
you.
back? Are you back, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Leonard. And also, we should be joined by our next senior panelist, our Monday night chairman, Mr. Gregory Brackett,
Yes, sir.
and the technical man. I think he's in the background somewhere queuing up, and hope that he get everything set up and the system and everything works out okay with him because there are times that he have some difficulties you know um, with the programming in terms of screwing up, whether it's on his side or on the other side that is on not in his control. So we should be joined by him, and also Mr. Morrison Leonard. If he once he gets at his location in time, I presume he's gonna brace us again tonight. So Leonard, I'll go straight into a reading, and it's from James chapter 2, 1 to 10, and it reads, "My brothers,
Here, change it.
show no partiality as you hold the faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory. For if a man wearing a gold ring and fine clothing comes into your assembly, and a poor man in shabby clothing also comes in, and if you pay attention to the one who wears the fine clothing and says, 'You sit here in a good place,' while you say to the poor man, 'You stand over there,' or 'Sit down at my feet,' have you not then made distinctions among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, my beloved brothers, has not God chosen those who are poor in the world to be rich in faith and heir of the kingdom, which he has promised to those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor man. Are are not the rich the one who oppress you and the one who drag you into court? Are they not the one who blaspheme the honorable name by which you're called? If you really fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing well. But if you show partiality, you are committing sin and are convicted by the law as transgressors. For whoever keeps the whole law but fails in one point has become accountable for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
For he who said, "Do not commit adultery," also said, "Do not murder." If you do not commit adultery but do murder, you have become a transgressor of the law.
Mm-hmm.
So speak and so act as those who are to be judged under the law of liberty, for judgment is without mercy to one who has shown no mercy. Mercy trumps over judgment.
Amen.
That's my reading, Leonard, from James chapter 2, uh,
No.
1 to 10. I'll go. You want to do a little public announcement there, Leonard, before I go into
Uh,
my program I had and things
yes,
I
sir.
had?
I'd just like to say that we wish that the government would fix the roads a little bit better, and we also wish that the public would use the roads that we have a little better, rather than just taking it for granted that because some of them are in vehicles and they feel safe, they just drive like crazy. You know, I mean, they drive without regards or consideration for themselves, much less anyone else, and they keep causing all these accidents and mayhem. You know, and people are being left with their loved ones all mangled up, can't provide for themselves, as it were. And unless we as a people or as a country start resorting to being more considerate of each other's, then we'll just continue going down this bad road, driving the same old way as we have been driving, and ending up with the same outcome or results as we have been ending up with, which is, as I said, a lot of people who are harmed and hurt, a lot of people losing their lives and limbs, and just making or impoverishing the society a little bit more. So I would just like to beg for those who are the drivers in Belize as a country to just be a little bit more considerate of each other, and when need be, help each other out. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity
Thank
to
you.
verbalize some
Thank you,
concerns.
Leonard. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome, sir.
I add a little to that, Leonard. We in Belize right now is experiencing some very strange weather that we haven't experienced in many years.
Yes,
And
sir.
Leonard, all my thing is that I ask that the government, they you hear the Briseno administration lately, they are interested in putting people in shelters, right? The homeless. Leonard, we have a lot of homeless people on the street. So I just hope that since he thinks so much right now that he said lately about the homeless, and he so feel for the homeless, he says he have a heart for the homeless. I ask him to please ask your department that in charge of the homeless to visit the entire country and try to do right by the homeless. Because some of them are homeless, Leonard, not by choice,
Mm-hmm.
but by the situation, the ills that this two-party system had put them in. That's how
Mm-hmm.
I see that. So we are having a little cool weather, you know. So, like I say, and I'm not talking no rocket science. You walk the street of Albert Street, you walk the streets around in your towns and in your village, and you know that there are homeless people sleeping in cardboard boxes, right,
Mm-hmm.
on the street, alongside these stores, right? They just harbor there for the night. Have some pity on these people, Mr. Government. Thank you. Leonard, lately, for the past, well, we have been talking about the BTL saga ever since its inception, same as we have done with the Budna situation from the very day that he got uh, a kidnap. We have been talking about it, but no sooner like they want to have that chapter turn really quick. But they have this BTL saga over their head right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, we talked about it. You know, um, I wish they would come clean to the Belizean people and say who are the players and what does the people have to profit off it, or what do they have stand to lose. Come truthful to the Belizean people. And then we had the Fortress buyout not too long ago, the Fortress deal, and it's a done deal. But yeah, a lot of Belizean don't know the intricacies, the the items that they had stuff in that deal, right? They don't know it.
There's a lot of
But
mud behind them dam, Mr. Chairman. A lot
yes,
of
sir.
mud. And those machineries are going to get clogged up pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
And they know that. And they're going to require major maintenance and repairs. And they don't want to pony up
And
the
I
money for that. So we
and
want
I
to find
want
a
to
way to.
remind yes, and I want to remind the Belizean people that electricity rate has gone up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that. Um, you know, and what I think that they should do with that increase that they have burdened the Belizean people with. Um, you know, lately you hear that the Belize City Council they personally want more money. The council they say they know they get paid enough for the big work that they're doing, right? So they want
They
a little
want
pay hike,
they want more than twice as much.
and and
More than twice
then
as much, not just a little bit more.
and then you hear
Yes,
that
man.
what's on the burner for them, they looking down the line, they say, well, you know what, we will do tax land evaluation. They want to evaluate your property, right? So look out, we will talk about that, you know and you know i I ask, I know when I was growing up, I know that the Belizean people had owned our utilities, had owned our utilities.
Mm-hmm.
But more so, this People's United Party had made some shady deals to profit who and who and who, and they got rid of our utilities. They got rid of it. Something that I said had belonged to the Belizean people. The UDP is part of it too, but more so the People's United Party, when they sit in government, they are known to get rid of our assets, not PUP asset, not UDP asset, the people's asset. So, and sadly, when they do that, they have all kind of little hanky panky. They do it. Oh, it's called public private. The public, but then belongs to the private. But then you never know who are the private people that owns your assets. Um, once again, we see the unions took to the streets, right? Which they rightfully, in my humble opinion, should do, because I think that once it concerns the people, the country, and the hard-working people of this nation, they should have a voice, and they should state where they stand in all the ills that is taking place in the country. Um, I've stated the way I feel about our present union leaders, right? We'll talk about that. And I noticed that, you have a certain non-elected senator, an appointed senator, then because all of them, they are not NOT elected by the people. They are appointed, most of them are appointed through politics. The party they shove up under, whether a UDP in government, they have the way they select their senators. PUP, same way. Like I said, most of them are being put in those seats through politics. I'm not saying all of them. And as to how much they kiss up under these politicians. I said that lately, but not lately, for some time now, I have been watching and stating my discourse about a certain appointed senator, the leader of government business. As for me, I think that he is behind. I'm not saying he is. I think that he is behind most of these illegal laws that they are passing. I think that he is behind the 13th Amendment. I think he is behind the same BTL saga. I could remember how he discriminated on the senators when he walked out of the Senate Select Committee when he was called with his client. And he was paid. He was being paid by the Belizean people, right? He was calling and how he dragged out the person he was representing as a senator, and what he said about the senators, what they need to do, right? And they know what they should do. They shouldn't be mad with him. Just do what they need to do. When he walked out and uttered certain words publicly, right? So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
on that one point about what he had said then, I don't recall nobody took him to task and clarified what he was actually intimating to us, the general public, as well as those other senators, colleagues of his, that was in that debate. But since you touched on it just now, could you afford me an opportunity? Maybe
sure,
about a minute.
We'll talk about it,
or half a minute. Maybe a minute or half. Not long. Just because you touched that point, I just know. I think that somehow that needs to be clarified. What that gentleman was talking about, and I'll call the name because I need for people to understand the context of what I'm saying. When lawyer, I don't call him lawyer because he went there to represent his client as a lawyer. When lawyer Emon Courtney went to that Senate Select Committee hearing, okay, that special hearing to investigate, he went there with his client, who was also a minister of state, and he got paid handsomely for representing that gentleman. Okay, while he was still getting money from the senator from the government to act as a senator and the lead senator in the Senate. He was telling the Senate that if the Senate didn't like the fact that um, um, he disgraced the Senate, they made their presentation and walked out and refused to answer any questions, that they could do what they want with him if they didn't like what he did. The Senate could not take him to the legal commission to get him disbarred and or to prosecute him. Why? Whatever the Senate does, the Prime Minister has to finance through the Ministry of Finance. And he knew that the Prime Minister would not allow the Senate to get no money to be able to pursue him, because they could have pursued him, not just only as a member of the Senate, okay? Because he helped to draft those very rules that the Senate was operating under, okay? He helped to put those rules in place when they were deciding in the committee what they was going to investigate, and he was saying that they can't ask certain questions, they could only ask certain other questions. In other words, from way back then, he was setting the groundwork for him to do what he ended up doing. That is, haul and pull the Senate, disrespect the Senate and the Belizean people and the government per se, all because his body, the Prime Minister, is the Minister of Finance and will not finance him getting charged or brought to account. That's what he was telling them. Do the next best, because as far as I'm concerned, nothing will come out of any effort that want to expend. I am the lead senator, and I know I encourage nothing to happen that going to boomerang back on me. That's what the gentleman was actually telling the public. Okay.
Thank you.
They're based enough.
And lastly, see, in my personal view, as a person that I watch and I listen and I formulate my own opinion. I think that we are now in an authoritarian state, right? We are ruled in every which way by our so-called executives. Executives. And who are these people? Right? Where are we at now? 2026. This two-party system. As for me, I think they need to go, right? Haven't we got enough yet? Sadly, we see publicly the behavior, the stinking behavior, an attitude of some of our elected leaders, appointed and non-elected senators and heads of department, and those who are sown to serve and protect us, past and present. I say,
I debate here right now.
How much is enough, right? Oh, Leonard, let's go to my, thing of, concern right now. This BTL, we'll discuss, what's on my mind, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about? We have been talking about it, Leonard. We have been discussing it as was up to the Monday night show, right? Um, what you think in your own observation of? Oh, first of all, I want to welcome Sir Gregory Brackett,
Good night, Greg.
our senior panelist and technical guy. said, Greg, yeah, I know you were in the background queuing up, and I was waiting. And thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us, Leonard. I mean,
Thank,
Greg.
thank you,
Wait,
Mr. Chairman, and good night to both of you gentlemen. Good night to the
Good
people
night,
at
sir.
home and abroad. I want to thank you for tuning in to this 393rd edition of Belizean Affairs. Mr. Chairman, I go back to you to finish what you were about to implement.
thank you. Leonard, I
You're
want
talking
to
about
hear.
BTL just now, sir.
Yes, yes. I want to hear your input, Leonard, so far as to your conclusion as to the BTL saga that is unfolding as I speak.
Uh, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for the privilege, sir. And I would like to say that I have no change of perspectives as regards to that sordid affair. And the reason why, the first time we discussed that matter when it was brought to the public's attention, I laid out exactly ahead of time what we're now speaking to, and the general public is now becoming aware of. That is that we have a bunch of kleptocrats leading our system of governance under the guise of a government, of course, legitimately so elected, okay? But a government elected by the people is to serve on behalf of the people, not on behalf of their own self-interest. And the fact that the Prime Minister appoints these members of these statutory boards, nowhere in the Constitution does it say that they have to help him commit a crime against our people. Guys, for all intents and purposes, as I stipulated, the first time we had this discussion, they were committing a crime against us by trying to use the leverage of government and the different positions that the government appoint and have these people to be beholding on a personal level with these government officials
Sure.
and to commit crimes against us, because there's no part of our constitution or any legal part of our laws, okay, or current laws, not even just the constitution, none of the laws that is written in our country gives them any exculpation or any justification or any excuse for self-enrichment. As a matter of fact, all the laws are contrary to that. But they're not going to take any of themselves to court. The government is not going to spend no money to take any of the ministers them to court for committing embezzlement. They will do that in a legal way. The Prime Minister is only one telephone call away from any of the members that he elect or appoint to these boards. So he don't have to go to them in person daily, or he doesn't have to come in public and campaign so that they would do what he wants to have done. All he has to do is pick up the phone and call them. They're his subordinate, and they work at they work at his pleasure and for his leisure. And when I say leisure, I know I only mean in terms of, I mean leisure in terms of how the money is being run in those departments. For example, how the devils can BTL get to a point where they are going to agree to a price to buy SpeedNet and Smart and whatever else not for the first $80 million and then buy the other rest for the next $90 million. Plus costs, legal costs, stamp duties, and all other kind of stuff associated with it. Over $200 million. How is BTL going to get to the point where, without the acquiescence of the Prime Minister and without them consulting with the Prime Minister, who is the people's financial minister, how are they going to go ahead and enter into such a venture and abuse the people's funds, because the Prime Minister should be capable, just like you and I and Greg and anybody else in the country, should be capable of recognizing that us spending $80 million right now to buy those junk companies is not going to enhance our possibilities to compete with the new um, uh, modernized industry. We should be, if we have $80 million to spare, we should be spending that money to enhance our possibility of surviving the competition that we're going to have when Starlings and all the other ones, they come aboard, because they're coming and we can't stop them from coming. Okay. For right now, I think I'm going to use that because
thank you. Thank
I'll
you,
go
Greg.
and later on to
You
finish
have
up.
the floor, Greg. You want to queue up or you want to?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I want to go to video state to hear what Mr. Musa had to say, Kareem.
I think it was a good demonstration of a healthy democracy. I think it was primarily led by the United Democratic Party and some participation from some of the unions. I think it was a decent flex, so to speak. But again, it demonstrates a healthy democracy to have dissenting, opposing views, and of course doing so in a respectful manner, in a peaceful manner. So, not completely peaceful, but I think overall it went well for them.
I want to say this, Mr. Chairman. You heard what Mr. Musa said. Mr. Musa is a learned man. Mr. Musa knows exactly how acts of parliament is done in the National Assembly. Mr. Musa knows what SI does and what policy does and cannot do. I want to stipulate again tonight to the people at home and abroad. Policies and SI cannot trump your constitutional right. I don't care how they want to put it. The Telecommunication Act is an act of parliament and it is enshrined in the Constitution. So they cannot even amend it out of existence like the Constitution itself. So even if the Prime Minister was to go to the National Assembly with this and they want to amend the law, it cannot trump the Parent Act. You can come up with something, but you cannot trump the Parent Act. And they know this. They all know this, from the lead business senator to everyone who is an attorney on that side. And I will also specify this. The Minister of Telecommunications knows this too, because when COVID-19 was up and running, the same minister who was Minister of Health tried to implement SI 74, and using that SI, he unconstitutionally tried to force people to take the vaccine, stipulating it was mandate when they know it would violate people's constitutional rights. So it's not that they don't know, because here we go again. People at home and abroad must listen to the narrative, because they are making it seem as though if the regulators, which is PUC, draft a regulation and he signs a SI, that it will become law that BTL can do this acquisition. It cannot become law. I will tell you why. The Telecommunication Act gives power to the regulator, which is PUC, and the Minister of Telecommunication to make regulation for fairness, for compliance within the Parent Act. And no SI can trump that. So if they try that again, as I am saying, it will be unconstitutional and it will be unlawful because that is their intent. And I will show you why we know that is their intent, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
It
you.
is their intent because if you listen to what he says, he is actually telling on himself. Let's hear the tape again.
I don't know that there is a monopoly. As far as I know, there are about 23 other broadband providers in this country. So I don't know that there is a monopoly.
Mr. Shabat had said that he does not believe you can say there's a monopoly when you have 23 other broadband providers, but BTL in this move, when the other three cable companies were in play, you were singling out three. So if you want to consolidate and monopolize, why not bring all of them in?
But again, that's not true in the sense because you have access to broadband services. Broadband services available about 20 other companies that we presently have. But the idea, again, on the entire consolidation of the industry, again, it's a matter where BTL, as we did not go into that discussion in cabinet. We just discussed the smart BTL. But from what we understand is that what they're trying to do is trying to create efficiencies. And also remember, taxpayers invested almost 700.
I will cut it there, Mr. Chairman. You cannot create efficiency if you want to be the total company. Because when you become the total heir of the company, you can cut out who you want, especially with this type of government. If there's a TV station speaking about them, they can pull the plug as they did with the Senate inquiry that was last held. Who all remember that?
Mr.
You
Chairman?
remember when they pulled the plug and the previous Senate inquiry in which the then minister from North end up suing them? So let's make no mistake. I go back to
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Greg, for that first tip there. Leonard, do you want to
Yes, sir.
contribute? Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, I want to bring a different perspective right now. We
You
have
you
discussed
have
this
you
matter.
have the you have the tape that he played just now, the one with Shabbat, right? The one with
Uh-huh.
Musa and the one with
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I want to bring a different perspective to the general public in regards to the same issue, and that is that if we were getting a good deal by trying to acquire, by allowing BTL to try and acquire Smart or any other entity, and we were getting a fire sale deal where we going to get some equipment or something from them that we would have had to buy eventually because maybe we would have needed it, I would say then that's a reasonable approach. Instead of we go buy it from somebody else, we could buy it right there and then. But we don't need those things. We have those things already as a matter of redundancy. Their system and their business was so much of a good business that it was worth investing money into. Why didn't they try to get the little small companies them together? And if they want to get out of the business, try to sell their stuff to the small business then. They said they have 20 of them or 23 of them.
One said 20 and one said 23.
Make it make sense. Why are they trying to use our government powers behind the authority of the Prime Minister's appointment of these people in the boardrooms to make rules that are contrary to the interests of us, the people, on whose behalf they have a fiduciary responsibility? Yes, they may have been appointed by the Prime Minister, but it is our business. So they and the Prime Minister have a responsibility to us, not to the Prime Minister's family or to Mr. Ashcroft again. So why didn't they go ahead then and sell it to the other small company? Or maybe for all matter of fact, sell it to some other international business company or individuals who have the cash flow. No. What they want to try and do now, or what they have attempted to do, is to try and force it down for short, force us to buy it, and for all intents and purposes, what is the sense of urgency that we have to be the scapegoat to buy those things so somebody else would cash out up front? And I'm going to say this. The Prime Minister has more allegiance to his family than to us, the Belizean people. So does anybody believe or think that he's going to go against his own family who are expecting to cash in on those monies, that $18 million plus? That he's going to have more allegiance to us who are paying him? How much millions are we going to pay him for the next rest of the term that he's in right now? What is his salary? $100,000 per year? For the next 5 years, it's going to be less than $1 million. So he's going to be a good Prime Minister to us for less than $1 million for the next rest of his term. And stiff, I'm saying, and I'm going to say it again, stiff his own family from making $18+ million. If he has more allegiance to them than to us, how will that work? That's what it's all about. Okay. Otherwise, they would have tried to sell yourself to whoever wants it rather than force us to take it. Because and then they want us to pay them out of our profits. What about the people who already hold interest in BTL? When their profits have to pay for these junk that they're selling us, instead of us investing that money into some modern equipment that would allow us to compete more favorably in the future. Are you that, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Leonard. Greg and Leonard, my it's only me. I'm not the smartest guy, I nowhere near these guys here. These guys are very smart. You see, I see that this guy hurdled his private, private public, he hurdled the private part of BTL, and they sat around a table, and as for me, I think that they have advanced knowledge of the competition that is coming.
Exactly.
Right? And then because like I say, I'm not the smartest guy, and they say, man, shit, if this is what is coming, we're gonna get a licking because we're gonna have to upgrade. And it takes money to upgrade. But listen, either the boss now, this is where it happen. Right? We run now because you know what? We run, right? And we dump it from BTL. Because, we, the people and the taxpayers are kuno. They know. Right? So just dump it because either the boss, I have the rein in my hands. Right? And they negotiate, guys. That's the way I see it. They negotiate because they foresee problems for them. They don't want to come out. They always want to win. Right? Win. With money that they haven't even put up. Not even, they're already used to that. They use the public purse, guys. They use the public purse to enrich themselves. Right? And then they capitalize on the public purse. They do it on numerous deals along with this man Ashcroft. Right? So we could dissect this different ways. But what kind of a leader who call himself love the country that he sits on the highest seat to serve and protect. What kind of a man does something like that and has no shame?
Mr. Chairman, it's a
Right?
kind of man that loves his family more than he loves the country.
Exactly. So Greg and Leonard, short little thing. I think they have advanced knowledge of what is coming, and they do not want to upgrade to compete. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, but let me put this in layman terms. You can open and register a company. I'll give you an example. Let's call ourselves the new real estate company, right? And let's give ourselves a name like, say, Belize New Estate Company, right? And we know the government ministers and all what they do, right? Now we are opening up this new company and we don't have no money. And we go to the government and we ask them to let be a private public company. And they come in and say, you know what? We needed a private company to help us in city council to make sure the streets are paved and anything and everything. With no money at all, our company can just become part of a private public company. And that is what is happening. Because all funding will come from taxpayers' money. And all we need to do is sit there, regulate, and pay shares to the taxpayers while we get all the benefits.
Mr.
Let's
Chairman,
take another look at Port of Danriga. Give you another example. Private, public, public, private. Who are the key players? Government of Belize and Dr. Zavani. Now they need 50 million US dollars to build a port. Dr. Zavani don't have the money. So he will look for private investors, foreign investors, and if they come in and build a port without he placing a dollar in it as the private owner, he can sit back and let the private investors run the port. And when they do these private public companies, they put them for years, 25, 30 years. So he can sit back for 30 years without doing nothing and make money off the people of Belize just because of that private public company. And the same thing is happening in the bus system, going public private. I go back to you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Go ahead,
Chairman.
Leonard. Go ahead, Leonard.
I want to go right back to BTL. I want to be specific. I'm going to give an
Yes, sir.
example now to myself in
Yes,
regards
sir.
to the same issue.
Yes, sir.
TTL is said to be a public-private endeavor or enterprise. The Social Security has 30-something%, I think 37, 30, 40%, and the government of Belize have another amount. But the amount that the government of Belize own, or we the people of Belize own, is a hell of a lot more than the private people then. We have a few private individuals who own shares in BTL, but they are the minority to the extent that they only have one board member, one single board member they can, and that's because they don't have enough members, but they give them that one board because you have to have, someone to represent those small investors, okay? So how the hell can BTL tells us as the chairman and the board told us, that it is a private enterprise, and therefore they are not accountable to us, or they don't have to tell us nothing, and they can do everything behind closed doors, and they don't have to let the public know what they're doing with public assets. The private public is more public than private. The public has more asset, has more shares, has the dominance, and the owner, as a matter of fact, I'll say a majority ownership in that company. So therefore, the public needs to be appraised of what's going on, and the people who are sitting down there as fiduciary board members on behalf of the public should be looking after the public interest and the public affairs. They shouldn't be colluding behind the scene in those board meetings and claim that they're independent and that they have to run this thing like a private enterprise, and they are not accountable to the public people that owns it. That's what they're really doing. The Prime Minister family own part of the company where they want to buy to help out the Prime Minister family and cash in up front and get their investment out. Mr. Ashcroft is another one. He wants to be paid as usual. He wants to take out his money up front. When the Prime Minister took the contracts then from BTL, which is our company, our public company, he as the Prime Minister should not have done that. He took the contracts them away from free government companies them and went and give it to his family's company, so that his family company can gain have additional clients and get money out of the government for their services. Why couldn't we have kept those contracts between the government and our government-owned company? We would have been winning on both sides of the table. Now we got to go back, and they're trying now to force us to go and buy back what they sold from us. Make that make sense to me. They stole the damn contracts then. Now they're trying to give us the idea that by us buying it back, we're going to get ahead of the game.
Thank you.
Bunch of thieves.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you. Go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, sometimes when you sit back and you listen and you look at what is going on, it tells you exactly what a government is up to. Because you know what this is showing us? You remember the taking over of Feinstein Private Island? You remember it? Under
Sure
the
did.
name of the Belizean people
Wow.
for
And we never-
a private investor.
And we never won one shares. Okay?
And
In our name,
I'm saying this to say, you heard what the chairman said, that the Belizean who was out there was trespassing on their own property.
because he's demented, he's sick in his head. That's why he says that.
And
He
it's
thinks that we
the
are
same
stupid enough to
thing
believe it.
with the private entity from Feinstein. We will not be allowed to go there if it is developed. Well, the Constitution forbids anyone to take private entity for commercial use. It cannot be for public.
But he claimed that he was doing it on an eminent domain, which meant that he should have been able to have the right. But the Constitution will give him
So
no right
you
to
see
commit a
everything
crime.
is coming to light.
And they have no shame, guys. This
Bunch of
guy have
monsters.
no shame at all. No shame.
Mr. Chairman, let's hear what Mr. Musa had to say. I want you to listen to this.
I think it is very important that Cabinet at this time, since it will not be the ones to make the decision, but rather the board, that they do not in any way try to interfere or influence the decision of board members. If it is that Cabinet says yes or no, that might have some impact, or at least the media might say that Cabinet is trying to intervene in the decision making process. And so that is why Cabinet made the decision that it will actually announce its position after consultations have concluded.
Bunch of crap.
Well,
These
Mr. Chairman,
people are straight
the
out.
Cabinet is responsible for the
Well,
public.
Well,
The Cabinet cannot exculpate
let me
itself.
finish Go ahead, Greg. Then I'll go to you,
This
Leonard.
is
You guys are a bunch
straight
of mobsters.
out legalized conspiracy.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Leonard.
The
Go ahead.
BTL board is not empowered to commit any crime against nobody, much less against the whole country, while under the guise of being a board and are trying to operate in secrecy to steal public funds or to misappropriate public funds, because that's legally what they are attempting to do, misappropriation of public funds. The Social Security Board, the Social Security money is public funds entrusted to Social Security on behalf of the retirees, them who expect to have their money not be given to the Prime Minister or his brother or his cousin, or not to be given to Mr. Ashcroft, at least not anymore. Okay? But these guys are doing that kind of stupidness over and over and over, and they're not held to account, or nobody takes them to court, or not, no, they suffer no consequences. So they take us all for a bunch of fools. And they keep
Thank you.
repeating the same cycle over and over and over.
Thank you.
The
Greg.
Constitution does not give them any power to commit any crime against nobody. Okay?
Greg.
I don't care where
Greg
SI
and
they make,
Leonard. Yeah.
don't care what SI they make, the SI cannot trump the Constitution, as we have been saying over and over.
Greg and Leonard, you know, you listen to that guy, and I see some shifting. That same guy, right?
Which
3
one of the
weeks
guy then? Which
ago,
one of the guy then, sir?
the Musa guy,
Oh, okay.
right, in his verbal, right? I wonder what's really going on with that guy. Is this guy trying to tell us no? Well, you hear he also said, well, you know his position with the Woodna situation, but you hear him say no, like today, oh no, he think yes, a crime was committed. This lone guy, he think a crime was committed against a citizen. And he, but anyway, back to the BTL, a rumble that he said. So you want to tell me that the cabinet that should look out for the interests of the people, that is there for the people, right? You want to tell me that now they await the decision from this board? And Greg, like you said, there is only one private person there in sitting on that board, right? So now he's trying to tell we wait for them to meet and make their vote. Who the hell you think that these people that Briseno appoints on that board? What is this guy? Does this guy take everybody for a bunch of fool with his words? Come on. No. See, then after they make the decision, cabinet will come and sit, and right, but we have to let them sit and make their decision. Now, make that make sense to me, Greg. Make their decision whether it's a deal or no deal, because that's what they're going to sit there for, right? So, and I say this to say that just remember, for the public, who appoints Lizaraga, who appoints the Social Security new lady, and who appoints the rest. That makes sense. Back to you, Greg. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman and people at home and abroad, as we always state and Belizean affairs, we show and tell. And tonight, I want to point it out again. Why are these people claiming that they are waiting on a board when I believe decision has already been made for this transaction? And I will tell you why I am saying that. Even though we are not hearing from the PUC regulators, I want to go back and let you, the people at home and abroad, hear what the minister has to say. Let's get it out there clearly.
The PUC is preparing an SI, which will be sent to the Attorney General before it comes to Cabinet. And that is to ensure that things, for example, like there's a transitional period. During that period, rates will not be raised, bundles will not be changed, subscribers will not be allowed to be moved from one rate to another unless they specifically require it, and things like that.
Transitional period means something changes. What's the change that is anticipated?
Well, it is anticipated, as you may have heard in the media, that there's a proposal to consolidate the two the telephone companies. Yes.
Yes, but making an aside.
I want to stop it there. Did you hear that? The PUC is making regulation for SI that will go to the Attorney General. Therefore, this board meeting and voting don't even have to proceed because the Minister of Telecommunication is already putting it out there. They will make they will make an SI that will go to the Attorney General and it will go to the Cabinet.
That is a promise that they are making, but that will not stop. That is a promise that these jackals are making to distract people, to let you feel like, okay, they're looking after your well-being and your affairs. But in effect, when they put that SI in place, by the time we get to that, as a matter of fact, the deal would have been done, sealed, signed, and they expect, because yesterday I'm supposed to go make the board meeting.
Oh, but the protesters frighten them, Leonard. The protesters frighten them, so they know.
I don't want to distract you with that. I want to stay on the point. There's a salient point that we need to be aware of. Mr. Shebat is saying that the PUC will make an SI that will be taken to the Attorney General, and then for the Attorney General to the Cabinet. And then after Cabinet, then that matter can be consolidated. If that was to be the trajectory of how this matter would be resolved. But I will explain to you, the general public. There are two different situations that we have right there that will compromise the government and put the government behind the eight ball. Okay? One, if the government as a cabinet disagree with whatever is it that the PUC, not the PUC, the BTL board goes ahead and said, okay, well, they agree if we go ahead and buy Smart and SpeedNet, the people owners of Smart and SpeedNet could turn around and sue cabinet, sue the government, so to speak. Okay? If the PUC says no, those people, especially Mr. Ashcroft, as you all know, anytime he talk about sue, then run go give him money by the millions of dollars without any suit, without any case being heard. So any which way you go out of those two scenarios, those people will still have the right to go and try and sue us in court because we have already, for all intents and purposes, agreed to enter into a contract to buy these pieces of junk. And it's not because these people don't know what I'm saying.
We went down that road before, Leonard.
They know what they're doing. That's why they never want to give us no information at all. And just want to consummate that deal between the board and the sellers. Once they consummate that deal between the board and the seller, they will say that BTL have the right as a board and as a company, especially because they are private public company under the private section of the company, which is less than the public. They have a right to make that behind the scene deal. And as Mr. Musa just intimated earlier, the cabinet shouldn't be able to get into the business of telling the board what to do and not to do. But the cabinet leader can do that just by making some phone call. Because he appoint those members. And if his family company, they want to buy out and ingratiate at public expense.
Thank you.
Okay. So these guys are playing a hijinks game on us.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Brackett, Do
Go ahead.
you know that that will be an informal SI? And I will tell you why. That SI cannot, period, be signed by the DG or by the acting DG because it will compromise them. You know it, I know it. And that is how they're trying to put it
The public does not know.
by having the Minister of Telecommunications sign it.
Guys,
He cannot sign anything that
Leonard,
becomes
yeah,
legal
Leonard and Greg,
that
right?
allows him to commit a crime.
But that is what their intention is.
We
Greg
all
and
know that.
Leonard, Greg and Leonard, you know, I want to take us back a little bit. Memory lane. Remember the Feinstein? Remember we said that it's going to go end up in court?
It's
Remember
right
we said that on our
Right.
program?
Yeah. Yep.
And you mentioned something very germane there, Leonard. Might be possible the same scenario. The way this guy are talking, or some of these guys are talking, might, for the record, that on our 393rd edition, right here, for the record, we're going to say, we told you so. Right? Might happen. Go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, with all that is being said and what they are trying to get done, respectfully, I hope those people on the board better take a hard think on what they're about to do, because I can guarantee you, if this goes sour and they go vote for this transaction, they will not want to walk in the street. Let's be honest.
And you hear them talking, Leonard and Greg, that they didn't go through with the voting and the meeting because the employees were fear of their life, and they might end up, suing those people who break in and went on that private property,
Whatever. It's crazy.
right? They went on that private property. They stole that private property. They had no right there.
That is not
Right?
private property, Mr. Weird. And they know that, but then try lie to them. Then try lie to themselves and to us. Okay?
Greg, let that make sense.
I'll make it make sense, Mr. Chairman. Here's the video.
As far as we know, there will be a meeting. We have not gotten anything back to say there would not be a meeting today. What's on the agenda, we don't know. That is why we're out of it, just in case they decide to go ahead with any partial signing or any partial agreement. That is why we're out here. You see the amount of people out here. I would not want to see any kind of riots or anything like that going on. I'm not saying that would happen, but let's avoid anything like that happening. Let's ensure that we go by the rules of the country and do the right thing and hold on to the process. So we are just waiting, ensuring that, of course, we are very respectful people. We're holding the peace, but we hope that we can continue holding the peace. And as long as they do the right thing and don't do anything today, it will remain like that. And if it's only a small group of us, it's just the beginning. It's just 24 hours that we made a call. So it's just the beginning. Let it end here and let them do the right thing in there.
So there you go, Mr. Chairman. Call it what it may. Is that a threat? No. That is democracy at the highest level, protecting your constitution.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Because
Thank you.
individuals are trying to be insubordinate to the supreme law of the land.
Amen. Thank you.
Mr.
Go
Chairman?
ahead, Leonard. Go ahead,
Thank you
Leonard.
very much, sir. These guys should not be allowed to steal us blind. Okay? But they have the levers of governance And according to them, they're gonna make it work one way or another. And the prime minister gonna get his money, and his brother and his cousin gonna get his money, and Mr. Ashcroft gonna get their money, and the Belizean people will just sit down and suck their finger. Okay? At the end of the day. Because once the deal is signed and the ink is dried, who is going to be able to sue who in order to reverse it or to get back with money? That's not about to happen after that. And these people are so much into themselves. First of all, they don't have no true ethics. They don't got no professionalism. They appear to lack morals. And they have no fidelity to the people of the country. Not to say the least about the Constitution. Because they could care less about the Constitution, as we have seen over and over and over. And so long as the Prime Minister get them to do what he wants them to do, and he will always claim that, well, he didn't have nothing to do with it, because at the end of the day, it's between his brother, his family, the Ashcroft, and the BTL. He is responsible for the BTL. He can't exculpate himself from allowing the board that he appoints, the members that he appoints, to betray the country, because that's basically what they're doing. When they fail their fiduciary responsibility to look out for our well-being and our money, and they will just agree if we go along to get this money out of our company so that other people could benefit and we could be left, holding the bag. That means that they're not acting in good faith towards the people. They're not acting as good stewards. Therefore, they need to be fired.
Thank you.
Are you back, sir?
Greg and Leonard, we know the position of this BTL chairman. We watch him rise into serving the public and watch him rise and rise and rise, and you watch him.
Mr. Bacon, you're talking about Mr. Chairman, you're talking about Mr. Bacon?
Yes, sir. You watch him, that they finally put him on that seat. You watch his trajectory and watch him on that seat. And then Greg and Leonard, remember that there was a next gen. Well, he's the brother of the owner of the Nader. So let's not forget that, right? We could have all kinds of scenario, all kinds of thinking about that individual and his brother.
Out of that 90 million, the other $90 million too, they're supposed to get a big part of that, okay? In addition to these 18 that we're talking about currently.
So because Greg and Leonard, the pressure was on that chairman, he cut his brother, When I say he cut, well, when I say that, I'm pretty sure they had a nice conversation. Man, pull out your whatever letter you put in there and thing, just pull it out. And sit back, relax. Sit back, relax, and wait for the bacon to serve.
Let Mr. Ashcroft force them to do that, Mr. Chairman.
And you, my brother, you will be rewarded handsomely. Just left smart there. Because, if you continue in the middle, the heat will come down on me. Me as the chairman, the heat will come on me. And it don't come on me. So please, wait for your slice of the bacon.
Yeah,
okay? It will come. So, we beat that issue there. And it's not it hasn't led to rest, guys. It's burning.
They're trying to distract with Mr. Chairman.
Yes, so we'll see, Greg. Greg, we'll see, and Leonard will see in the next coming days what will happen, the end result. And on that note, Greg, something that caught my attention about a person sitting on a land for 20 years, a family in the south, in Mr. Ferguson constituency. right? And because now a family member of Mr. Ferguson discovered that this piece of land that these people is sitting on
Valuable.
for 20 years, valuable. They discovered that there is a ruin there, and when a ruin, all the
Money
different
making.
canaries and
Money
all the
making.
different thieves come in and want to thief, steal, uh, excavate our ruins because our jewel, our good things are in there. So the man, Mr. Ferguson family now says, well, you know what? My family is a minister, and then I will fight for this, and I will get this piece of land. And you, Mr. Man, you just sit here for 20 years, you gotta go. So sad, no?
Power play.
So sad. So sad. That really touched me. This young man says he was brought up on that farm. He was brought up on that farm, right? And to do a disservice and to do something criminally, that's a crime. You're inflicting on these people, right? You. So why I say this is that Leonard and Greg, these kinds of scenario is playing out around this nation, around the country of Belize, right? And it got to stop, man. It got to stop, right? This place, this family that sits on this land for 20, 30 years because maybe they didn't have the money to push through and buy that land or what, but golly, man.
Mr. Chairman, let me help you here. The moment an artifact or a cave was found, it becomes eminent domain. It belongs to the Belizean people. The government should take that land and redress that gentleman by relocating him. Nobody, including Mr. Ferguson or his son, should get that piece of land. And when they pay this gentleman for redress, they should pay him for every coconut tree or everything he has on that land. That is what should happen, and all artifacts should be preserved. If there is any wealth, it belongs to the Belizean people.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman?
Go ahead, Leonard.
As regards to a possible resolution to that issue, from what I understand, it's a good sized piece of land. So therefore, they don't need to take the money off of all the land. They could resurvey that piece of land so that the man get whatever piece is not necessary or needed by the government. And the government should take under eminent domain, as Greg has said, correctly so, whatever was left, enough for them to reach from the roadside into the back of where that cave is and thing. But there's another problem. That cave has been there who knows for how long. And we also know that for many years now, people have been going into that cave and extracting things from it. So it's not like a newly discovered cave that nobody knows what's in there, or there's the certainty that something might be in there. Just the fact that it is a cave has a value in terms of for niche. Okay? So
true on that.
They could give that gentleman whatever piece of land that could be made available for him to get titled for, and compensate him for whatever trees and other thing, because they're going to have to take part of it. Like I said, the cave is only one little piece of the land. There are a lot of other areas, acres and acres in the vicinity that these people are actually occupying or laying claim
to. Exactly.
And the only reason why this minister's son wants this piece of land It's because the land is already cultivated and it's nicely taken care of. He just want to take over these people and then sweat and blood and tears. Okay, for all these years.
That
He has
is
the
so
power to do
sad.
that with his father's ministerial portfolio powers in cabinet, and they could have the people in the lands department to pull and play the games with the documents and
Yes.
issue it to him, the son of the minister,
So
and take it away. He knows the son of the minister shouldn't get it either, as Greg had mentioned earlier.
so
Okay.
so
Are
guys,
you,
like
I'm
I
sorry.
say, guys, I just say this to say that the injustice that happens in Belize. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Injustice, right?
Mr. Chairman,
So go ahead, Greg.
we know for a fact it's only some of these places the government cater to. Because I know, and there's one off the coastal highway right now that has been reaped, and whatever is fine is being sold to Guatemala. You know that, I know that.
Phew. So
Have
that's
they
what.
interceded?
No.
No, they have not.
What they want is to take over this man's sweat and blood and tears. Okay.
And for the record,
It's a beautiful piece of land.
hey,
I
guys,
saw pictures of it.
Greg and Leonard, for the record, that's not the only dispute on land involving the Fergusons. The Fergusons, that's not the only dispute in that area in the south that
Mr. Chairman,
have dispute in the past. And if you don't believe me, you could do the research.
Yeah, but
involve the
Mr. Chairman,
Fergusons.
I was about to tell you that as far as my records are concerned, in the Belize rural, in the San Creek west area, there have been literally tens of thousands of acres of land that I'm aware of, okay? That, these politicians have been divvying up among themselves, and they turn around and they try to sell it to people from abroad, okay?
So sad.
Good
so
land.
Sad. So sad. So that's an issue
And
that,
the Japanese then get extra thousands and thousands of land as well. For their farming,
family,
farm, and all kind of other things that they've been doing. Coconut, wharf,
They already secure land. Though that family had already secure land for their kids that haven't been born yet.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But that is the way that should have been done. The government should have stepped in and protected whatever
I'm
is
saying,
in there.
That's when
Because
people
I
are operating with
believe
good
there's stuff
intentions.
in there just based on the picture that the young man showed.
Exactly.
Because I know for a fact most of these ruins having what we call jade stone and factory like the sun guard.
Valuables.
So these are stuff that should be protected.
But even if they have been ransacked already and nothing is left in there, just the existence of the caves themselves, is a tourist attraction thing that could make some money. And that's what the minister's son was after, trying to take away this thing from people so he could be the money maker for it.
He cannot own an artifact site, Mr. Brackett. The government has to take that under eminent domain. It is not possible.
Yeah, for archaeological site.
Yeah.
I put it as an archaeological site.
That's what the government is supposed to do, but the government is not doing it. And this guy is trying to get it done as a private thing, so that once he come in off his name privately, then the government have to turn around and pay.
It's already in his name.
Yeah, but
according to the Greg and Leonard, according to the young man, lo and behold, he know this already in Ferguson's name, right? I'm not saying the minister Ferguson, a Ferguson. The title Ferguson.
It's his son. I know the whole deal. I've been following up on it.
All right. So, Greg, you have to last cue up, and then we go to our.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But let's have a short discussion on this.
Sir, do you believe, in no uncertain terms, that a crime was committed on August 22nd in Orange Walk when Joseph Bunna was abducted?
As much as, I am in a court battle with Joseph Budna in a civil matter, and now I'm going to be in a court battle with the media for repeating some of the very libelous, defamatory allegations of Arthur Saldivar, I can still say to you that Joseph Budna is within his right to take a matter to the Supreme Court, and I have a right to defend myself because I know I had nothing to do with that. But when you look at it, it is clear from the video footage that something has committed, a crime was committed. It doesn't justify the fact that we're talking here about a very dangerous individual. And yes, so many vulnerable children are now safer because he's no longer on the streets of Belize. But at the same
Cut your political nonsense out, man.
I stopped the tape right there because it don't make sense to me.
He's getting gratuitous with his
And
political
I think
agenda.
that's why a lawsuit is coming.
Yeah.
Because if Mr. Budna was so dangerous, why wasn't he locked up?
I'll put it one step further, Greg. If Mr. Budna was as dangerous as he and the Prime Minister and all the other guys that are saying that the guy was so dangerous and they're glad that he's now out of the way, that is not the reason why they dispose of him. He knew certain things that would have compromised him and both, and that's why they decided, get rid of him. But the bottom line is that even so, Mr. Musa, right, as the minister of that portfolio at the time when that incident occurred, for which he actually lost the portfolio. I don't think we are not aware of that. We are very concerned and could recollect that that's the case, right? And even his brother didn't want to touch that portfolio because the portfolio came with whatever else was already involved there. That is, an international crime was committed, not just a Belizean crime. An international crime was committed. And for him to say, well, that the people are better off by Mr. Budna being in a foreign jail, that of itself doesn't exculpate him from his shortcoming, because that matter happened under his watch, which is why he is now the subject of that lawsuit. But they don't want him having to answer to that lawsuit, so they're trying to cut the stuff out from the legs or from the knees before the thing start to work. But they think it's over, but it's not over.
Thank you, Greg, for finally showing something that he admits that, yes, a crime was committed. And then, he says, and the Brazilian says he's a demon and a very dangerous man. But dangerous to who? Dangerous to who? And I'm glad that, after viewing the footage and publicly, and you see, yes, a crime was committed.
He acknowledged that a tape exists, right? That he saw.
So, Greg.
That again is another problem of theirs.
So, don't you think, Greg and Leonard, it makes sense that if a crime was committed, so let's find who perpetrated that crime.
Mr. Chairman.
Let's find who perpetrated that crime.
Mr. Chairman.
That's all I'm saying, right?
Mr. Chairman, according to his defense attorney, there was no evidence presented. But your client is right now presenting the evidence when he's stipulating a crime was committed and Greg, there was videotape.
Greg, if he goes to the stand and Saldivar asks about the tape that he acknowledged having seen, and then Mr. Bart acknowledged that he had, based on the tape that Mr. Bart, had seen as well, it's why he put Mr. Flowers on interdiction. If you go back and ask all the relevant,
doesn't make sense.
Those questions to be asked. They don't
Doesn't
want to
make
deal with
sense.
nothing. They want this thing to just go under the bridge like a little
So,
water.
so guys, the state, knowing that this dangerous man is running around the country
They
for
failed.
7 years,
They failed. They
right?
didn't do
The
their job.
state. So who you think should be held accountable? Who do you think, Mr. Musa? Listen, all of a sudden now, that yes, very dangerous man. You should be held accountable as the Minister of Police then to have this man locked up because he's a dangerous man to society, right? And there he is with a video with a camera in your face and asking you questions, and they're all about running around this country freely.
Until you
and you know that he's a criminal. What is wrong with you, sir?
He's a criminal for offending the Prime Minister.
But, Mr. Chairman, if
Back
we
to you,
want
Greg.
to go that road, sir, what is more dangerous than kidnapping? All these people that end up missing. Some of them you don't even find. Who knows? What is more dangerous than that?
Amen to that.
Greg,
Guys,
Mr. Chairman and Greg, do you guys remember Malik, the little girl?
Yeah. Oh man,
you know,
that's only one. I think it was 13 of them.
From way back then, before Buddha was ever born, people would disappear. Okay.
Sad, so sad. But anyway, guys, it just getting heated up. But as time, time is of an essence, guys. And we are near that end. Leonard, I give you 3 minutes for your closing, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we're gonna have more time to deal with the Budna thing because it's gonna last for a while. I think I want to focus on this rapidly emerging, and apparently intended for a rapid conclusion of this BTL issue. All they're trying to do is to get the BTL board, even if they can't get all the members, then they just want the majority to vote in favor of making this thing happen. Once that happens, cabinet can accept it and go along with it and say, well, the board decided. Okay. And then, for all intents and purposes, the Prime Minister, as Mr. Karim Musa has stipulated, had said that he could have been exculpated, not exculpated, he could have been excused from the meeting, and let them go ahead and have the meeting. And they said no, that they wanted him to stay. Well, then he could also stay when they make the final decision and be the arbiter or the decision maker and cast the vote to determine how the vote will end up in cabinet. Because nothing comes to cabinet without his acquiescence or permission. Everything that comes to cabinet has to be approved first by the Prime Minister for them to discuss it in cabinet. And when they discuss that in cabinet, who do you think the allegiance is going to be in favor of? The general public or the mass population of the country whose interest this BTL thing is transgressing? Or the Prime Minister's interest to further this thing so that the family could benefit from it to the tune of multiple billions of dollars? None of these guys are going to stand up and enough of them will stand up and vote this thing down in a cabinet. And even if they do, the fact that the Prime Minister, the canvass the members of the board and appoint new members to the board or do whatever they have to do right now, it's an issue. And that he have control of the PUC, which should have been already speaking up on this matter, okay? That tells you that the PUC is waiting for the board to decide and then they will go along with the board, okay? There's no two ways about that.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that, eloquent put together. Greg, 3 minutes, my brother. Then I'll take 2.
Mr. Chairman, I am just waiting to see if the government, using executive powers, will proceed with this acquisition. Because the moment they do, it is open for judicial review. And I can guarantee you it will be struck down. Because even if the High Court roll with them, the CCJ will overrule the decision.
Do you have any idea how long it will take for it to reach there, Greg?
But even if
Look at the process. Look at our process in the country.
but
Thing is,
you
guys
know
are
what,
doing things
you
to
know
move
what,
fast enough
Mr.
to get
Brackett,
there and get results.
I'm saying that to say though, government can change
I'm not
and
rebutting
life
your point, you
can
know.
be
Yeah.
life
Please
can
don't
be
get me wrong,
changed
right?
to hold them accountable.
Yes,
That's
but
how
I'm
the
saying,
system works, Leonard. That's how
I'm
the
just
system
saying, right?
works.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying that these
Thank
guys,
you, Greg.
are a bunch of
Yeah.
scoundrels, and all they want to do is just play the process through,
Yeah. Yes. My
delay.
little 2 cents, 2 minutes on that.
Go ahead,
Greg,
Greg.
we watched the riot. Well, not the riot, the saga that went
Demonstration,
on in the compound,
demonstration.
right? Demonstration, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then my point is that I want to hold the lady accountable for what she said. This is first wrong one. I want to hold her accountable for come back with wrong two if it's so needed. And she says she's going to come stronger. That is if that voting by the board in favor of the opposition, I hold her accountable for that.
Mr. Chairman,
So, in that note, yes,
Mr. Chairman, she's not the only one that said that. I believe the leader of the opposition said it too. They will do whatever they need to do to prevent it.
I mean,
If it
that's the late.
means
I'm talking about
being in the
the leader
street,
of the
whatever,
opposition. Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I believe, I really believe, if this bill goes through, havoc will take place.
That's
I
why
believe that.
that's why I said that. That's why I said that. Go ahead,
Yes,
go
sir.
quickly, Leonard, quickly.
Yeah. Why are we flagellating the leader of the opposition and the other people who are committed to try and fight against this thing, and we're not putting enough pressure on the ones who are actually doing the dirty deed or really trying to, we need to bring all with pressures and everything on the present government to try and
Well,
stop them from doing it. Not wait until after they don't do it and then
well, that's
we'll
what
argue with them.
No, I want to see what wrong one. The pressure that will come on wrong two, right? I want to see that pressure.
Mr.
So,
Chairman, I will say this, and I will say this to the people at home and abroad. If we really want this deal not to go through, the people of Belize can undermine smart net by moving away from them
yeah, that's
as
true.
we speak
That's true.
and signing up with BTL. So their company have no value.
Yeah, that's true.
Period.
That's
And they can do that
That's another angle.
by
Yeah.
2 days a week.
That would only be valid
Not buying any
if
credit from them.
they're not trying to stay in business to benefit from that.
Yeah.
They're trying to
They
sell
want to
out.
get out.
Sell out to
Exactly.
whatever they sell out to and people stop use FeedNet and stop use Smart, that we want to take the lick again because we only got something when the produce no income or no benefit, no profit.
Anyway, guys,
With the
nice
ministry
show.
focus.
Interesting points. Interesting topic.
Uh,
In real time, what's going on in our country, and it's only hurting the Belizean people, and these are the people that we look out for and we talk about our people, the ills and our nation, what is wrong, and this is the topic that is garnering the attention of the nation as I speak. So on that note, I just hope that it ends well in favor of the Belizean people. And as always, I want to thank you, Greg, for always show and tell.
Mr. Chairman.
I want to thank you, Leonard.
And
Yeah.
one last word, one last statement. These people, they want to have this thing done, and if we could muster up enough people to come and demonstrate every day to disturb them or to try and stop them from having a quorum or to have the meeting, we can't have people out there demonstrating enough days that they don't got a chance to have a meeting, even on the telephone if they need to, or maybe on the internet. They could just do and they could have the decision made, and once that decision made, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And follow through on that decision.
Yeah.
So we really, truthfully speaking, there's very little chance that we can stop them. But that don't mean that we give up or throw our hands up.
Anyway, thank
Thank you
you.
very much,
It's always a pleasure. And again, thanks to our viewers and listeners, Leonard, who continue to view and support us and share our program. Thank you. Thank you for, holding steadfast with us and support us. Greg, again, always thank you for showing and tell in their own words and in real time. Thank you very much for, the very informative to the public, that information that you dissect in that way to the public. Thank you. Appreciate. Leonard, again, thanks. Big thank you too, sir.
Nice program.
Take it away, Greg. Thank you.
We want everybody. We want everybody. Give me some of your everybody. Give me some of that cassava.